dimensions, I'm pretty sure that thing is in inches. We're going to make a new assembly. Notice there's not a distinction between sub-assemblies and assemblies. And in reality, there's not a difference between an assembly and a model file. They're the same file type. They're both PRT files. Okay? So there's no, it's not a new file type at all. All it really is going to do is set it up for us to work with assemblies. Okay, so I'm going to put this in our Z drive. Put it 4472 valve. That's the thing. And I don't know. I'll call it Hewitt spool subassembly. Something like that. Hopefully this thing's in inches. Almost sure of it.
So do you want to save all the sub-assemblies and everything into that folder?
Put them all in that same valve folder.
So not our C drive?
No, it's better if we work off of this. You can, if you're working off a C drive, you can copy those out, put them onto your C drive. That's fine. You can pull them off of the, off the website and open it up that way, or just copy them off of the Z drive. Use them, but then when you're done, just move the one file, because all these files have the same name. That's what he looks for, is that file name, and so he will look, or can be pointed to very easily to just look in the directory that he sits in. So just when you put it back up there, you don't have to recopy the individual components. All right, so let's see, he opens up immediately asking us if we want to add components. And this would be a good thing to do, except it doesn't really show us how to get to this screen, okay? So what we want to do, I'm just going to cancel out of this, and we're going to go the longer way around, because that's going to be a little bit more useful, I think. All right, so when we open up in assemblies, you'll see that this little bit of the menu has been added. In fact, you may have seen it there before. If you haven't seen it, you go under application and your application tab. You can do this if you started a model tab. If you start and you're modeling and you're doing that trial head, say, and you realize, ooh, I need a second component to go in this. This is not just a single file. This is going to actually become an assembly. What you can do is, at that point, assemble in something else. Okay, so you can assemble in at any time by just turning on this assemblies button. So under application, your application tab, assemblies, you want to make sure that that is enabled. And what that does is that turns on this little assemblies tab. Makes sense? I'll go here, I'll turn it off, and I see it has disappeared. Okay, so when you're looking to do an assembly and it's not there, that's how you get to it. Application, assemblies, and then on the home tab it should be there. So what we want to do is we want to add a component. So click on that giant add button, and you see we're back to where we started. This is what he says, oh, you want an assembly, this is what you're going to want to do first thing, is assemble in something. So that's why he was starting here. So that's kind of the sorts of things that a template does. Notice also, he says, oh, you're not going to be modeling, so you don't need that datum coordinate system in there. It's not there, you see it? It's missing. It's not, you don't need it. Because you're not going to be modeling. You're just going to be assembling things in space. So if we had a part open, he would suggest that we add that, but we don't have anything open yet. And so what we need to do is go out here to this little open, and we'll go look on our Z drive, and under valve, we'll see a list of things. No, that's not helpful. So what we want is the actual spool itself. Spool PRT. He goes out, he looks at it, he finds the geometry that's in that file, and says, oh yes, this, okay, let's put this in there. Do keep in mind, he is not copying that information. He's only going out and looking at it and pointing to it. The only information that's going to go into this file that we are creating is the fact that it's that file that we're looking at. That, in other words, it's just a pointer. It says go and look at file number spool.prt. And he's also going to keep track of where we put it. So we have a variety of ways of placing this into this model. We can put it at the absolute origin. In other words, the absolute coordinate system of this file, where this is the z-axis and it's located on the xy plane. We can just take it and put it into this file, use it matching up the coordinate system, the absolute coordinate system. Or we can say, look, we want to select the origin where it goes. Or we could say by constraints. Now, most of the time, what you're going to do is assemble by constraint, because that's how you assemble stuff in real life, right? You take, sort of. You take this clicker, okay, and you assemble it onto this table. You're aligning these two planes together, okay? So this has been constrained to be so that this flat surface